الحمد لله الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وشفينا وطبيب قلوبنا سيدنا محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. يا رب صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير خلقك وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. جاءت لدعوته الأشجار ساجدة تمشي إليه على ساق بلا قدم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير خلق كلهم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. Respected Maulana Sahab, respected host and hostess Haji Iqbal Sahab, Brother Chairman, brothers and sisters, children, I greet you all tonight with a universal salutation, the salutation of peace, the salutation of all the prophets from Adam alayhi salam to Isa alayhi salam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Indeed, I am happy to be here tonight to share with you some of my thoughts. Praises are for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala jalla jalaluhu. We praise Allah for all the gifts that He has given to us, for all the bounties, for all the favors, for every single thing that Allah has given to us from time to time. We testify without the slightest of doubt that there is no one worthy of being worshipped except Allah. He is alone and has no associate nor partners. This is the only testimony that will save me and will save you from entering the hellfire. As I further testify, and I declare openly in front of each and every one of you here tonight that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is the last and final prophet who Allah has sent into this world to teach man a better way of life. I testify openly that he has indeed delivered the message of Islam, and he has found the best of way to protect this deen from any corruption. Mu'azzaz Hazreen, we are living in a time that is considered in the Islamic calendar as the blessed days. First and foremost, we pray Allah Azza wa Jal will reward the host and hostess and their children for having us here this night. Our coming here, this majlis is a Deeni majlis, Nabawi majlis. This is a religious majlis. This is a prophetic majlis in which the name of Allah is being recited. It is being discussed among us, and we send salawat to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. This is a blessed assembly, and I am overwhelmed tonight to see so many young people who have assembled here this night. This is perhaps one of the few majlis in which we have attended and we have seen that the younger ones are more than the elderly ones here tonight. And this is a hope for us for the future. This is the hope. The young people is our hope. That they will be the muballigeen of this mill. They will be the people who will take this message as we have taken from our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents and our ustaz and those who had rights over us. So we still have hopes. And this is very evident here in this message. Tonight we are here to celebrate the works and the life of one of the wali of Islam. One who has made great contribution. Sahab will deal with that topic. But I would like to reflect tonight on the season that we are in. We are in a season of Rajab, Shab, Ramadan. If we were living in the time of the people of the past and had visited the masjid at the time of Fajr namaz, from great distance we would have heard this dua being echoed in the masjid. Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab wa Sha'ban wa ballighna Ramadan. Oh Allah, bless us in the month of Rajab and Sha'ban and let us witness the coming of Ramadan. Allah has blessed each and every one of us, that we have witnessed the month of Rajab. We have already completed the half of Rajab almost, and we are now in the latter part of Rajab, and we will be transformed to the month of Sha'ban, and after the sighting of the crescent we will welcome the month of Ramadan. This month of Rajab single out itself, it is considered of one of the greatest months because of what? There is an incident that took place in the life of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi in this month, on the 27th night of this month. He was elevated and he was taken with spirit and body both. He was elevated and he was taken up to the heavens to visit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this constitutes one of the belief of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Whosoever disbelieve that the Isra wal Mairaj was not both in spirit and body, he is out of the millah of Islam. So this is the first thing we have to understand as young people, that Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, he traveled beyond and he traveled quicker than light. Because when he came back to his bed that night, it was still hot. The heat of the body was still there. The chain that shook on the door that he exited from his blessed house, it was still shaking. You know, there's and Allah Azza wa Jal says in Al-Quran, He confirmed this. Now, if this was a dream, it would have not been mentioned or recorded in the Quran. Some say it's a dream. And whosoever said this is a dream, he has cut kafar and he is out of the, he is a kafir. He is being renowned as a kafir because he disbelieves, he does not believe in the Quran. And Allah Azza wa Jal affirmed this now in the Quran by saying in Surah Al-Isra, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام من المسجد الحرام سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير. Allah Azza wa Jal in this ayah al-Karimah, He praises Himself because this is not something that the ordinary human being would understand. So Allah says, glory be to Allah, exalted praise Allah. This is a magnificent job. Glory be to Allah who has taken his servant from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa. This was a horizontal job, distance that he has covered. A distance today that will be covered by air, about 3 hours it will take. If someone was to travel with aircraft from Makkah to Bayt al-Maqdis, he will take about 3 hours to fly. Glory be to Allah who has taken his beloved Abdihi, like he has taken him, his servant, from Masjid al-Haram ila al-Masjid al-Aqsa alladhi barakna hawla, and he has blessed the entire region of Masjid al-Aqsa. Anyone here has visited Masjid al-Aqsa? Anyone has visited Masjid al-Aqsa? You went? Masha Allah. When you go to Masjid al-Aqsa, you will see now what I'm going to be talking about.
Subhanallah, subhanallah.
الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا. Allah Rabbul Alameen has blessed the entire region of Jerusalem. The entire city he has blessed. Wallahi al-Azim, I swear to Allah, I have never ate fruits as more delicious than the fruits that came from the area of Jerusalem. The grapes are so sweet like honey. And the mangoes and the apples and whatsoever you think about. It is the most peaceful city that I've ever entered. لِنُرِيَهُ مِنْ آيَاتِنَا. We have taken him to Jerusalem to show him some of our signs. إِنَّهُ هُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. Verily Allah is the one who sees and he listens and he hears everything. On this night of Isra wal Mairaj, when Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he left Mecca, he stopped at the grave of his beloved father. Anyone knows where Rasul's father is buried? Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his father, is buried in Medina al-Munawwara, where his blessed Rawda is, his blessed grave is. The same on the right side, in the same line. About 2 minutes walking. That's where the maqam of his blessed father is. He came that night from Mecca al-Mukarramah and he stopped there in reverence to his father. And he paid his salams to his father. His father came out of the grave and he made shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. His father came out of the grave and he made shahada with Rasulullah. And Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, he went and he stopped at the place where Musa alayhi salam spoke to Almighty Allah and he paid reverence to that spot. And he went to Hebron, to Bethlehem, where Isa alayhi salam was born, that place where he was born, that blessed area, and he paid reference to that place. And he came to Jerusalem. When he arrived in Jerusalem on that night, all the prophets were there. From Adam alayhi salam to Isa alayhi salam, 124,000 prophets. They were all standing in line. They were waiting the arrival of Imam al-Anbiya, the Imam of the Anbiya. Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, he greeted all of them on that night. He greeted them. He led them in 2 rak'ah namaz. He offered them to go forward. He offered the prophets to go forward to be the Imam on that. But they said, we came here to make the way for your coming. After the namaz, when he recited Surah Al-Duha in the first rak'ah, he recited Alam Nashrah Laka Sadrak in the second rak'ah. And then he stood up and he delivered a khutbah there to all the prophets. And he thanked them for what they have done in terms of admonishing the people and making the way for him to come. This is in the lower level of Masjid Al-Aqsa. When you go today, this is incident took place in the lower level of Masjid Al-Aqsa. Where the Buraq came, the Buraq was tight that night. You will find there a dome. It is being built on that spot in showing reverence where the Buraq was tied that night. And Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, where he came to the Masjid Qubbat al-Sakhra, where the Qubba, the elevated stone, that stone that was following Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam now. He mounted upon that stone to go on to the Buraq on that night. And that stone was elevated, and he spoke to the stone and he said to the stone, Kif, stop here. That stone is elevated until this day. Anyone who has gone to Masjid Al-Aqsa Sharif would have tell you that they have prayed beneath that stone. The stone is now propped up on the sides of it, the four sides. It is propped up with columns. It was a big stone. And if you look through the microscope, the scent that when Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, where Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, he mounted on that stone that night, his footprint is engraved there. And you will sense that the scent of his footprint is still there, and that scent comes out in the masjid. What we see today in the picture, it is not Masjid Al-Aqsa. When the media speaks about Masjid Al-Aqsa, they show us that golden dome. That is not Masjid Al-Aqsa. That is the masjid of the suspended stone. The stone is suspended and is under that dome. Masjid Al-Aqsa is about 5 to 10 minutes walk away. So there's two different masjids here. On that night, Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, he mounted on the Buraq and he arrived as the chief guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a lot that happened, time does not permit, so I will just go to the point of what I want to speak about. When Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, he began to visit, he visited the 7 heavens that night. And he met the prophets in different level, and who he met and the conversation that he had with them and so on. It's an incident that you can write and write and write days and days, and you can relate days and days into months, and you will not be able to finish what happened in the incident of Isra wal Mairaj. The gist of the point, Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam on that night, Jibreel alayhi salam was his rafiq, was his companion. And Jibreel alayhi salam said to him, Ya Rasulullah, Ana al-an. Now, if I am to go forward, I will be burnt. If you were to go forward now, you will be honored. You are the guest, and I cannot go beyond this. Here is my limit. And Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, he went beyond. And he spoke to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without hijab. Bila parda, without parda. There was no veil between, so he saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was 2 bow lengths away. Musa alayhi salam, on the night when he was walking in the desert, he and his wife, it was very cold and he was shivering. What Musa alayhi salam told his wife, he said, look, there is a light there. He thought that it was a fire. He said to his wife, you wait here, I will go to that light. I will bring a branch out of it. Perhaps it will give us some heat and it will warm us up, and it will be a opening for us in this journey that we will be able to see through. When he arrived, what did Allah say? Innani ana Allah. Verily I am Allah. It's not the fire what we are talking about. It is Almighty Allah you are seeing here. La ilaha illa ana. There is no one to be worshipped except me, Allah. Fa'abudni, worship me. Wa aqimis salata li-dhikri, and establish salah for my remembrance. Here when Musa alayhi salam spoke to Almighty Allah, he met Almighty Allah there. Allah did not reveal himself. But the first commandment, Allah made it very clear to Musa alayhi salam, aqimis salata li-dhikri, establish prayer for my remembrance. When Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to give the gift of salah to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, He did not send it to be delivered on earth. He did not send it through Jibreel alayhi salam, through a messenger. He called Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam up. He said, come to me and I shall give you. Fas'al, ask of me what you wish, I shall give it to you. All the pillars of Islam are given to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. All the commandments, what is halal, what is haram, everything is given to Rasul sallallahu on earth. Makkah and Medina, except for Salah. Rasulullah, he receives zakat. Where? On earth. Siyam, fast and rosa, earth. The commandment of Hajj, what is halal, what to do, what not to do, everything is to Jibreel alayhi salam. But this one here said, no, you come. I invite you to come upstairs now. Where no creature, no, not only a human being, no creature has ever gone. Allah Rabbul Alameen took Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam here. On the night when he was going with the Buraq, when he went to the Buraq said that I was ridden by Adam alayhi salam. The Buraq is speaking and he said to Jibreel, he said, Adam alayhi salam rode on me, sat on me. Ibrahim alayhi salam sat on me. But I have never got the feelings of anyone like this one who is sitting on me. Who is this person? Jibreel said to him, he said, Adam Safatullah wa Ibrahim Khalilullah. But the person who is on you, he is the one who everyone will request the shafa'ah, the intercession that he will have to intercede on every person's behalf. And on his right will be Jannah, on his right, on his left will be Jahannam. Whosoever believe in him will be honored, and whosoever does not accept his message will be perished. Anyone who believes and accepts his teachings will be elevated and will be protected and will be under his intercession on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. He then received from Allah, that is Ummah, I'll take 2-3 minutes more. He then received from Allah Rabbul Alameen that his Ummah, he got 3 gifts on that night. Rasulullah received 3 gifts on that night from Allah right here. And I will just touch in those 3 gifts. That his Ummah shall pray Khamsina Salah, 50 times. They must pray namaz. And he was happy with this gift. He was contented. He was very, very, very happy, and he was returning. And out of this happiness, he shared when he met Musa alayhi salam in paradise again. On his return, he was stopping in every heaven, every level. And he said, Musa alayhi salam, I got a special gift from Allah this night that my ummah shall pray every day 50 times. Musa alayhi salam said, Ya Rasulullah, Irji ila rabbika fas'alhu at-taghfir. Return to your Lord and request him to decrease it. For verily I have treated and I have attended to a nation before you, and they, and Israel, they were not successful. They didn't manage it. Go back. So he went back to Allah Rabbul Alameen. And he asked of him, Ya Rabbul Alameen, Decrease it, please. It was decreased from 50 to 45 to 40 to 35 to 30 to 25 to 20 to 15 to 10 until he became 5. He was happy. Allah Rabbul Alameen promised him. He said, I have decreased it in terms of action, but I shall not decrease it in terms of its merits. I have requested that your ummah shall pray to me 50 times a day, but I will still give them that reward, that when they pray 5 times, I will credit them that they have prayed 50 times. Full credit. That anyone who does one good action, he will be receiving as if he did 10 of that nature. He was so happy. He had a nice discussion with Allah. And that discussion is every day in our salah. At-tahiyyatu lillahi. At-tahiyyatu lillahi. Everybody continue. At-tayyibat. Wassalawat wa tayyibat. This is the discussion that Allah Rabbul Alameen, that Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told to Allah. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made His ijabah. He answered. Assalamu alayka ayyuha nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alayna malaikatu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin. This discussion of the tahiyyat that we recite in Jalsa every day, at least in our first namaz 17 times a day, this is the discussion that Allah, His angels and Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the angel were at the back of this discussion and they echo, they join into the discussion. And this is why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam concluded this by saying, As-salatu Mairaj. The salah, namaz, is the Mairaj for a mu'min. He speaks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you were to calculate, a namaz take at least 15 to 20 minutes daily. 15 to 20 minutes. If you were to take 18 minutes, 18 multiplied by 50, see what is the ending of it. And divide that by 60 minutes, that gives 1 hour. You will get almost 16 hours. An average person sleeps 8 hours a day, and he is awake 16 hours. If someone was to be engaged in 50 namaz a day, it is like if he has spent 16 hours of his time in that day in devotion, prayer to Allah Rabbul Alameen. Ayyuhal ahbab, respected children, I want you to understand here tonight that Allah has created us with a purpose. And that purpose is to worship Him. And anything that is considered as goodness, anything of kindness, anything that is pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is considered as ibadah. Even the smile on our face for our brothers and sisters is considered ibadah. We drive happiness in the minds of people. This is ibadah, this is worship. Allah bless us for these acts. Let us begin with the small things of being kind to people. Our Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was very kind. He was the most kind of anyone in history has recorded. He shared love. He was the kind person. He ate less, but he shared what he had with others. He never turned away or drive away a beggar. Irrespective of what denomination or what religion that person belonged to, he was always that person who would give when someone asks. He was one who was admired by every single creature that he came in contact with. Whether they were Muslims, whether they were Christians, whether they were Jews, whether they were whatsoever, fire worshippers. He was admired by every single creature, every single human being. He was very kind to even the animals. جاءت لدعوته Imam Busayri said in his qasida, جاءت لدعوته الأشجار, when even the trees came bowing to him. They made such that جاءت لدعوته الأشجار ساجدة تمشي إليه على الساقب. The trees came to him walking without any feet. Everything that he came in contact, he treated with respect. Even the hajar, the stone, the bricks, he treated out of respect. He never wasted. We are living in a time when we need to show the people who we come in contact with, who am I? I am a Muslim. This must not be reflected in language and speeches. This must not be reflected in terms of lectures, but it must be reflected in our actions. They must see you as a Muslim because of your action that you spread. You love, you're kind to them. And this, they will come to ask you, who are you? What religion do you practice? I'm a Muslim. Oh, you are a Muslim. Is this Islam? Yes, this is Islam. This was taught to me by my Prophet بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعنا وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم إنه تعالى جواد قديم وملك بر. These words I say unto you, I ask Almighty Allah to bless you, to bless all of us here tonight. May He make our stay here a beneficial one, that when we leave and we return back home, we would have been lifted spiritually, elevated with knowledge, that when we return back home, we will turn to these practices. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspire the young ones here tonight, that when the older ones, Uncle Iqbal and other senior of this community or this neighborhood will pass away, that these practices will still be maintained, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Subhanallah, Nare Takbir, Nare Risalat.
Subhanallah, what an amazing lecture by Imam Sahab. We are very thankful to him. He took out some time, came among us and gave us a great lecture about Al-Isra wal-Mairaj. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him, give him barakah, more barakah in his knowledge, in his life, in his health, in his wealth, inshallah. Subhanallah, बहुत ही खूब जनाब हमारे मुअज़्ज़ज़ मेहमान इमाम ज़मीर साहब ने हमें अल-इसरा वल मेराज पर बताया और वहाँ के तोहफे के बारे में बताया जो हमें उस रात को मिला, जो इतना अजीम तोहफा है। हम आम तोहफे जो दुनिया वाले हमें देते हैं हम उसको संभाल के रखते हैं, ये तो हमें रब तबारक व तआला ने इस उम्मत के लिए अर्श पर दिया है। इस वाक़ये को मेराज का अल-इसरा वल मेराज इंशाल्लाह इसके ऊपर पूरा प्रोग्राम भी होगा, हमारी मस्जिदों में भी होता है। बस इसके लिए आला हज़रत का वो कलाम का मक्ता पढ़ के इंशाल्लाह मैं अपने प्रोग्राम की तरफ आगे बढ़ता हूँ। आला हज़रत फरमाते हैं, नबी ये रहमत शफ़ी ये उम्मत रज़ा बिल्लाह हो इनायत, नबी ये रहमत शफ़ी ये उम्मत रज़ा बिल्लाह हो इनायत, उन्हें भी उन खिलअतों से हिस्सा, मुझे भी उन खिलअतों से हिस्सा जो ख़ास रहमत के वहाँ बटे थे। तो अल्लाह ताला इस रात की बरकतों से हम सबको मालामाल फरमाए और जितनी देर हम यहाँ बैठे हैं अल्लाह ताला हमें सीखने और समझने की तौफीक अता फरमाए। जो हमारे भाई पीछे बैठे हैं उनसे गुजारिश करता हूँ आप आगे आए।